Andrew here, Mortgage HQ. Now today we're going to tackle how do you buy a property that's not in the city that you're living in. So if you want to buy an investment property remotely, or even your first property, it's going to be a case where you're going to be feeling like you've got to see your property first before you can make a big decision. And I want to challenge that today. So if you're looking at a property, say in Christchurch, but you're living in Auckland, you're going to want to start with strict criteria around bedrooms, around land size, around property type, whether it's cross lease or not. You're going to want to understand the criteria before you get down that rabbit hole of trying to decide whether you should buy this property or not. Because once you narrow down your criteria, then you should have a shorter, smaller list of properties to choose from. And then you can get to a point where, okay, on paper, this property makes sense. Now you're trying to figure out, okay, should I go and buy this property or spend time on it? And this is where you can take advantage of a legal framework, and especially at the moment where it's a buyer's market. So you'll have a standard sale and purchase agreement that you can insert with the help of your lawyer, or maybe you got a just standard agreement and a clause for due diligence. Now a due diligence clause allows you to get the property under contract for 5, 10, 15, 30 days. So you've agreed on the price, you've agreed on the sale terms, and now what you've got is you've got the ability to spend time and money researching this property before you commit to like spending money. you want to get this property under contract before you spend money. What most people do is they find a property they like, they spend money on valuation or builder's report, or they spend time going to visit it, and then they talk to the agent about getting it under contract, and they realize there's already other offers, or they've missed out, or the price they want to pay is not good for the seller, so they've wasted a lot of time and money. What we suggest is that you get the property under contract first. There's no cost, there's no obligation, there's no risk when you're using a due diligence clause. You're just fully agreeing with the price up front, and then you're doing your homework. If you're looking at a property that is in a different city, you can contact a few different property managers who can go and look at the property on your behalf. You can use building inspectors to go and assess the property based on your behalf. Obviously they have some costs, but some property managers will go and look at the property for you for free. You don't necessarily have to get a building inspection report. You can get a building inspector or a builder to walk through a property and give you insights. You don't necessarily have to pay for the full report. And then once you've got an understanding from your property manager or inspector about the quality of the property, you can do your numbers if you haven't already and understand the yields and about what improvements need to be made. Your building inspector might take photos or point things out that renovations can be done. And this is a point where you've got the price sorted, you've got the property under contract, you've had an assessment from professionals. Then you might consider to fly down and have a look at this property, or to go and send somebody else to have a look. Before you commit to any cost, you should be able to get a property under contract, especially in a buyer's market. Now, if you're not confident in doing all of that, you can consider working with a buyer's agent. The thing to remember with a buyer's agent is, firstly, they want to sell this property, so they're going to be very persuasive. And secondly is that, especially if they're going through another agent, but even if they're not, there is a commission in the middle. Maybe it's 10, 15, 20 grand. So it does increase the cost to you. But usually buyer's agents are pretty good at getting properties under contract at a cost that's really reasonable, especially with their margin added up. So if you want to buy remotely, I definitely suggest understanding how to get a property under contract using a due diligence clause before you spend any money. And you can actually just fire offers off, a couple offers a week, see what sticks. And you can even, a vendor might be expecting 550,000, you're only willing to offer 500,000. There's nothing to stop you getting the sale and purchase agreement off the agent, putting your 500,000 offer in with a due diligence clause. Should take about 10 minutes on your computer, firing it off, and then you're either going to negotiate or they're going to say no. It doesn't cost you anything. So buying property remotely is totally feasible, especially when you understand how to convince a property manager or an inspector to go and look at it on your behalf. Any questions? Let us know.